What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? This is your boy Cris. You're tuned into the Arrowhead Chief Podcast, episode 117. We got a lot to get into. Off-season storylines galore going on. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to win him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Cris style. Out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's your boy Cris. Like I said, you're tuned in to another episode of the Arrowhead Chief Podcast. My guy Clarence, he should be falling in any minute now. Ty wasn't able to make it, but I got my guy Mark up in here. What's going on, Mark?
It's another day in the valley, just pretty much just taking notes of all the stupidity and see what else is going to come out this offseason. But, you know, when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, I guess every day is always good, right?
Right. Definitely cannot complain. It's definitely going to be a pretty good offseason knowing that we won the Super Bowl and have a chance to win the Super Bowl again because we'll be able to load up with the team that we already have. We'll be able to upgrade at certain positions and also re-sign some guys that we need to re-sign. So, but we'll get into some of that stuff later on in the pod. Before we get into that, what was your thoughts on the parade, man?
The parade was cool. I mean, I saw it from two different vantage points. You know, of course, they had the one that was going on off of who was I think it was I was watching on I was watching through YouTube. There we go. I was watching through the YouTube version, then also had the chance and pleasure to actually watch from the KC News as well, so looking at their perspective. But you know, it looked like a team that had been before. Ray, you know, Watson gave me a good old laugh. I guess he was this year's Tom Brady, except there was no avocado tequila this time. But you know what? It looked like a team that had completely been there. I mean, it was a great feeling to see, you know, a lot of our rookies to be able to experience that. And, you know, it's almost become to a point where it doesn't seem like this is the expectation. Chris Jones expecting to be there, Kelce expecting to be there, Mahomes expecting to be there, the whole core expecting to be there, and the rookies taking it in. You know, it's good to hear from the voices of Nick Bolton, you know, as far as what they did, what they accomplished. Kelce was being Kelce. Mahomes was being Mahomes. Of course, it was good to see, you know, Andy Reid and, of course, you know, awesome GM to be able to speak out, and the president, you know, on his birthday. That's probably one of the coolest birthday presents you could possibly get, is to be able to say, you know, you had a parade on your birthday. So shout out to him and stuff. Other than that, you know, of course, you know, we wish we could have been there, but, you know, I was there in spirit. That's the way I felt about it.
Yeah, I pretty much felt the same way. Wish I could have been there. Looked like it was a whole bunch of fun. This show out looked like it was a lot more people at this show out than it was the first Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl looked like it wasn't that many people. Wasn't as much people. But this one looks like it was a packed house. Everybody was out there representing, you know, Chiefs Kingdom. And definitely looked like it was a lot of fun. Like you said, Jalen Watson getting wheeled out in a wheelchair. Mahomes taking a picture with the Super Bowl trophy with the people and then leaving it with the fans. That was
right.
that was funny. Leo Chenal doing his Tarzan impression, climbing
right.
the bus.
Right. That's what I was saying. What the heck? You Spider-Man in the all season? Like, somebody, I need you to lock y'all windows up.
Yeah.
And then and shout out to, I forgot to throw out there, shout out to your boy Orlando Brown, though. Those shirts was dope, though.
Yeah. Zero Sacks, put it on the F and T-shirt. Yeah, that was definitely a cool thing for him. And you know, they deserve it, man. The offensive line played, like we said in the last episode, the offensive line played a really, really good game. So, you know, they deserve the glow. They deserve to, you know, poke their chest out, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. But you had mentioned it, the got to hear some of the guys speak. You know, the Mahomes speech and Andy Reid got to speak. Of course, Travis Kelsey always has the classic, sound bites with the na 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 na, giving us a Master P throwback over there.
he got a shout out too for Master P on
Yeah, I
there.
saw that.
I was like,
I
all
saw
right.
that. I know the kids out there, specifically, I don't know, Ty knows who Master P is, but
We have to break him out of Rolodex or something like that.
So Google Master P and you'll know who Master P is. Put some respect on
Right.
Master P's name. But no, and of course, Mahomes had a speech. But I think the most interesting speech was what Brett Veach says, and this is what he said when he came up.
So, start the season, 24 new faces, and 11 of them are rookies, and many people thought this was a retooling year. So, in Kansas City, this is what a rebuilding year looks like right here.
So he got to poke his chest out a little bit. A lot. Chiefs Kingdom's kind of been hard on Brett. It's been a divide when it comes to Brett Veach. As far as GM, there's the one side who feels like Brett Veach, does a really good job with the picks that he has. And then there's the other side of, that were, like not really fond of Brett Veach. They like John Dorsey, which personally I feel like, yeah, John Dorsey, he drafted, some of our key positions. He also had some bad picks too. Like, it's not like John Dorsey was, just great. He wasn't great. So, but all in all, I feel like this season was finally the season where Brett Veach finally got his flowers from all of Chiefs Kingdom, not just one particular, like all of Chiefs Kingdom finally sat back and said, you know what, Brett Veach, you did a great job with your draft, with the guys you picked in the offseason to be on this team, and you were right. You betted on Patrick Mahomes. You betted on Andy Reid. You said that as long as we have those two at the helm, we can still be viable to win championships. And our coaching staff is going to be good enough to coach up these young guys and get them ready for when time for the playoffs come. We'll be ready to, go full steam ahead as far as going for a Super Bowl. So that speech right there was all encompass of what Brett Veach probably was thinking all season. When everybody was doubting us, everybody was saying that the Chiefs wasn't going to make the playoffs and all that good stuff. What's going on, Joe? How you doing?
What up, Joe? And even so, to add on to that too, I mean, I'm not sure who won GM of the year. I mean, my guess would they probably gave it to Roseman because it was the least expected, whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's what a GM does. That's what a GM of the year does. They've made the second. I mean, you could talk about all the additions and all of this stuff, but Beach and they don't talk about, as far as the kind of sacrifices that they had to make. It's like you said in that speech. So he pretty much nailed every point. They should add that and everything. Oh, look who finally woke up. Look at that.
What up, though?
But,
what's going on,
but
Clarence?
Shit.
We just talking about the parade, man.
Yep.
Y'all go ahead.
Yeah, but I was saying that as far as with Beach and everything, he may have not got the GM of the year, but that's what a GM of the year does, though. It's like everything that you could possibly ask for. We had the best two GMs to make those kind of decisions, on the off season, and we had the best two coaches throughout the year. And obviously, they record show for it and so forth. They both had the respective one seed, and we give credit due to Andy Reid and company, of course. But the GMs, though, they have to make sure that they give credits due. I felt like they as far as like leading up to that week or leading up to the game, you saw a whole lot of Roseman. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like on every network they were talking about Roseman and bringing them up to as far as like having the conversations with them and stuff like that. No problem with it, but at the same time, Beach though, that dude need to get more respect for what, and more credit for what he's doing.
Most definitely. I think like I said, this is the final of the season. I think Brett Veach is going to get, especially going into this off season. I think he's finally going to get his just due, and knowing that he's probably one of the top. He is the top GM in this league right now. Shout out to Howie Roseman. He's a very good GM, and there's a very other various good GMs out there. But right now, Brett Veach is the best GM in the NFL right now, and he proved it with not just this year incoming class, but the year before, because a lot of those guys contribute too. the Noah's Grays, Nick Bolton, Willie Gay. Those guys all contribute to winning this Super Bowl. So you got to give Brett Veach his flowers and know that he's one of the best GMs in the league right now. Well, fellas, you got anything to add, Clarence?
No.
Okay.
Season's over, dog. Like, we champs. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
You feel me? I'm
right.
just in here to spread some championship joy, and I'm gonna go ahead and slide. So, you feel me?
I hear you.
You ain't go to the parade?
Nah, man, I had to work that day.
Oh, you ain't swan dive off the bus? You ain't do none of that?
Swan dive.
Nigga, did you see me on TV?
You would have saw it. You would have saw that.
You know what I'm saying? You just saw my wild black ass out there.
You would have saw that. There you go, Clarence.
You know what I'm saying?
He just
Ric
did a
Flair
spot.
slapping motherfuckers in the chest and everything. I'd have showed my ass out there.
Oh, trust me. If you would have did something like that, you would have been the first thing up on the Arrowhead Chief podcast. We were showing a video talking about look at what happened at the parade. It wouldn't have been the speech. It would have been you doing a swan dive off the bus.
I ain't swan diving nowhere. I'm Ric Flair slapping motherfuckers in their neck. Shit. That's how I get down.
Clarence just did a swanton bomb off the bus.
You know what I'm saying? In full Roman Reigns energy, motherfucker. Shit. Better get real. Wrestling real in my head.
Right. Yeah, crazy.
It's real to me. Yeah.
Well, fellas, when you win Super Bowls, you lose coaches. And, even though we feel like he needs to be a head coach, Eric Bieniemy is going to the Washington Commanders. He's going to be the assistant head coach / OC. He's going to be able to pick his own staff. He got signed, made it official a couple of days ago. I wish, Eric Bieniemy all the best. Hopefully they get the quarterback situation right over there, because one thing I don't want to happen to Eric Bieniemy is that, because we don't know the goalpost for what he has to do for this move to be successful. Does he have to be a top 10 offense? Does he have to be a top 5 offense? Does it have to be a top 2 offense? Like, I'm scared that they're gonna find a way to move the goalpost on this. He could be a top 5, he could be number 5 as far as offense. Terry McLaurin could probably have the best season of his life. The running backs have the best season of the offensive line, looks great. And he's just got this thing right. He's getting the best out of whoever quarterback he has at the helm, whether it be Sam Howell, whether it be a quarterback they draft and they get in the draft, or a veteran that they sign. Maybe it's a Jimmy G, or maybe Derek Carr. Maybe they can get Derek Carr over there. I don't know. But whatever he can get out of it, if he can make this offense one of the top offenses in the league, hopefully that's enough to show these stupid owners that he should be a head coach.
Ben,
and go ahead, Mark.
16 interviews like in the last 5. That's crazy to me. And we got coaches, and I ain't trying to throw shots, but that's just the reality. I mean, losing Super Bowl coordinator, coach, and all whatever, they can get a job in the next 2 days. It's dumbfounding to me. And with the resume that he has stacked, and what's kind of troubling too is that you even kind of start to see some of the media come out. And granted, there's still some loopholes we may not know. It's like as far as the concerns of Ron Rivera and the health and all that's going. Is he going to play the season out? Is it not? The bottom line is he shouldn't have had to go through this route. Now the storyline that we're starting to hear changing in Kansas City is that Nagy could be that successor. I mean, granted, he came back, he did this thing as far as with the quarterback's coach, and we're talking about him being a possible successor. I'm like, hold on, pump your brakes now. Like, why are we having this conversation? It's like, he hasn't won one as a coordinator. I believe that there is a significant difference. So, like, what would have been the difference of him being the successor, even, whether they win the Super Bowl or not next year, versus somebody like EB who had to go clear across, to a team like Washington to prove himself? That's just mind blowing,
But Pat had a good relationship with Matt. Like, before Matt left, his relationship between him and Patrick, like, that was magic that Super Bowl year when they played the Niners. You know what I mean? I don't think him and EB had that type of relationship. They had a good relationship, but I don't think it was on the level as him and Matt Nagy. And I like the fact that EB gets to go to Washington and prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like the knock was the fact that he was on this staff with Andy, and for as much support as the players tried to show over the last couple of weeks, like you would hear them credit more Andy than they would credit EB. You know what I mean? And it's not them intentionally doing it; it's just them being in the heat of the moment. You feel me? So now you get EB to go to Washington. He's got a hell of a team over there. You talking about Logan Thomas at tight end. You talking about the dogs that he got at wide receiver, the running backs, Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. Like he got pieces over there. You know, the biggest question mark is the quarterback. But if they stay with Taylor Heineke or if they go with Sam Howell, it's still a situation where they can average 24 points a game. The recipe is how they played against Philly that first time when they gave Philly that first L. That's the recipe for them. If they play consistently like that, and you putting in some jet motions in there, like EB can get the most out of that squad. And you know how he likes to work. You know how he likes to coach up the players. Like that's what they need in Washington. They need that structure. They need somebody to come in and say, "All right, y'all, strap them on and lock all the way the fuck in, and let's go out here and get to work." Like that's what they need. You know what I'm saying? So he's gonna do his thing. EB gonna be successful. You know what I'm saying? And then there's no more excuses. Then they can't say it's Andy. Then they can't say it's Patrick. You know what I'm saying? He wins the NFC East, or he at least puts some fear in the NFC East leader at that time, and it's right there on their bumper. Like there's no doubt EB will get a head coaching job. You know what I'm saying? May it be in the pros, hell, it may be in college. You know what I'm saying? College route ain't a bad scenario either. You feel me? Look at Nick Saban. You know what I'm saying? Like it's win-win for EB. I think this was a great thing for him. I hate to see him leave. I'm gonna miss the shit out of EB. You know what I mean? But opportunity is opportunity, and he needed to go somewhere else to prove to them like it's not just Pat and Andy. Like I had a big hand in this. You know what I'm saying? And here's what I bring to the table. This is how I motivate and lead men. You know what I mean? So let's get it, man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be pulling for the Commanders, dog.
Yeah, and don't discount that. You know, let's say that the Commanders start off a little slow, and they look at Rich Rod and they be like, we might have to go in a different direction. Now EB's the interim head coach. Now he really can prove. You know,
absolutely.
I'm a head coach.
Absolutely.
And he might remain the head coach of the Commanders.
Absolutely. And that's what I think that they was looking at anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where why they brought him in. Like, what if Riverboat Ron, what if he's long in the tooth and don't have that juice no more? We need somebody that can step in that these players can gravitate to, that can relate to them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Ron can't relate to them no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe
that's part of the unknown factors.
Like, you think about Jack Del Rio being there, like them defensive players didn't relate to Jack Del Rio, especially when he came out and made them comments. They was like, "Whoa, that's him. That's not us. We don't agree with that." You know what I'm saying? So, EB coming in, like the culture's gonna change in Washington, and it's gonna be for a positive.
It's going to have to. I mean, because you're talking about a team that's going to have new ownership anyway in the upcoming days. So you could have that. You could probably have a new GM. Who knows? Like I said, there's a whole lot of unknowns. And, of course, you wish the best for EB. And even so, with this move of EB, I even texted y'all yesterday. I said, don't be surprised if one of our former players ends up over there, because usually that's what happens. And we'll get that discussion later on.
Miko, maybe even CEH gets traded over there for a pick. And some of our coaches, I can see Greg Lewis. There's a guy on our staff named Dan Williams, who he was Andy's assistant, and then he started going for the offensive side. He might go over there and be one of the staff. So don't be surprised if we lose some other coaches on over to that staff. We got Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn and him are like this. So
Yeah.
Anthony Lynn might go over there with EB. So we'll see. And like I said, I wish Airbnb all the best, man. I hope the Commanders are competing in that NFC East, and I hope they
I
get
think
it.
they will.
I hope
I
that
think they
quarterback
will.
situation gets right.
Yeah, I think they will. You know what I mean? Like you look at that team and the way it was last year, and that was just based off of a real bland offense, and the fact that you didn't get a healthy Logan Thomas. That's the other piece to this. Like EB is not going to tolerate Logan Thomas not being available.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Logan Thomas has to be available in order for them to have success. Like what Logan Thomas provides them, if he stay healthy, and EB is going to command that he stay healthy, is that Travis Kelce like route running over the middle. You dig what I'm saying? Which frees up all of them weapons that they got on the perimeter. And that wide receiving core is so underrated. Like people don't value that wide receiving core, but they are some damn dogs.
And then
They
you got
are.
Robinson in the backfield, Gibson to complement in the backfield. It's got some promise over there.
You just
Definitely
got to
got some
push
things.
Logan Thomas to stay healthy, dog. Logan
Yep.
Thomas got to fucking stay healthy.
And don't be surprised if they draft another tight end to go over there. Go along. Or maybe they sign a Mike Gesicki or somebody like that to go over there to add to that. There's a lot of but the offense do have core pieces with McLaurin. You got Jahan Dotson, you got Curtis Samuel. Like you got guys over there that can get it done. It's just the quarterback situation has to be a little bit more consistent. So.
Hell, maybe Derek Carr end up over there. You just never know.
Yeah, right.
You never know.
That would be shocking, but I would definitely have them amongst the top there if they were able to steal Carr over there.
And Carr
he got released. You know what I'm saying?
He
He get courted by everybody now.
And Carr might want to go to the NFC. The quarterback competition isn't as stiff as it is on the AFC. You have a better chance of making the playoffs for sure.
Like I said, the best part about this, EB gonna make them play hard, dog. Wherever EB go, that team is gonna fight and they're gonna play hard. And they're gonna play some damn good football. And turnovers are at a minimum when you dealing with an EB led offense. Like y'all seen how he was in that Indy game. It was subtle, but he was pissed. Go back to that Bengals game last year, the AFC title game. He was pissed. You know what I'm saying? Patrick just had grown to a point where Patrick is Patrick now, and Patrick recognizes it, and he's like, I don't need you to coach me the way that you coach them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm different. I got this. I got my hand on this shit. I know what's going on. Relax. You know what I'm saying? Pat don't relate to that type of coaching. You feel me? But EB only know one way. You dig what I'm saying? So he can go there and he can grab a hold of their attention and get them young men to work, and you're gonna see success.
I will say this about Patrick: he does mention that EB does pushes him and makes him a better, keeps him accountable. Not to say that Andy doesn't keep him accountable, but I think that Andy has a little bit more free reign when it comes to Patrick.
For sure.
It's kind of like, just cook. You do you, you do you.
Yeah.
Whereas EB is kind of like, do you, but
yeah, absolutely. EB was the reminder to Pat that you only been in this league for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what EB was to Pat. You know what I mean? While everybody else, we forget how young he still is in this league. You feel me? Like, EB was that constant reminder to him, like, you still young in this, dog. You still got a lot of growth. You know what I mean? You doing your thing, but sometimes you making these dumbass decisions. You know what I mean? Let's clean those up. Yeah. Let's work on this to get better. You know what I mean? And Pat's like, yo, you can't talk to me the way you talk to Cole or to CH. Yeah, you gonna talk to me different.
And even in that Coast game where everybody made it famous before the half, when him and EB, I wouldn't even say they got into it.
Right.
I felt like EB actually handled the situation really, really good. Like, he could have made it worse. He could have been yelling back at Pat, like, no, you gonna listen. No, he was just like, we cool. It's okay. We cool. And
But see,
if I'm a GM or if I'm an owner and I see that, I'm gonna be
mhm,
like, okay, that's what I want in my
mhm.
head because I don't want him to
but
escalate the situation. He
right,
de-escalated.
but see, that's the dumbass fans and the stupid ass fucking media in Kansas City that be on that bullshit. Like EB is supposed to not coach Pat. You know what I'm saying? EB not supposed to talk to Pat and tell Pat what he did wrong. Like they would be okay if Andy said that shit to Pat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if Andy and Pat was having a verbal sparring match on the sideline, they'd be okay with that shit. But EB can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the Kansas City fans and this stupid ass media push this some as well, like to make it so uncomfortable that EB had to be like, I want to stay. I love Andy. I love Pat. I love Trav, but I can't do this no damn more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not the first time that this shit has happened.
Yeah.
Go back and you listen to Tyreek. A lot of that came from that. You know what I mean? Like you listen to some of the shit that Frank Clark has said in the past. A lot of it had to do with that. Cris, the Honey Badger. You know what I mean? Like that shit with Hitchens. Like a lot of that shit came from Kansas City media and Kansas City fans. Like they play a major part in this to make it uncomfortable for guys to want to stay in Kansas City, despite the
I
winning.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You know, he toxic as fuck. Let's call it what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Sorry,
Man.
not sorry.
And Chiefs Kingdom with Matt Nagy becomes the OC. I want y'all to keep that same energy when we lose a game. I want y'all to talk about how Matt Nagy was calling them bad plays. Same thing I used to do to EB. I want you to keep that same energy for Matt Nagy. That's all I'm saying.
Because who they gonna blame? It's either gonna be Matt Nagy or it's gonna be Andy.
Right.
Who they gonna blame? They can't blame the Negro no more. The Negro gone. So who they gonna blame?
Saunders.
Yeah. To a dude that don't even play offense. You damn right, Joe.
Yeah.
You damn right. It's gotta be one of us. Shit.
You better. Hey, that's all I'm saying.
You damn right.
You
Damn
better
right.
keep that same energy
You
that you got
damn right.
for Nagy.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna start screenshotting some of the comments. And then we're gonna put them on here on live and help them out. Say any call you done messed up.
So, well, everybody's talking about these three quarterbacks going into this offseason: Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson. Now, I feel like I think Derek Carr is the domino that everybody's waiting for. They're trying to see where he's going to go because he is the free agent out of all three of these guys. Whereas the other two either got to sign a franchise tag or, with Aaron Rodgers, he's wanting to see if he's even going to play. And if he wants to play, are they going to trade him, to whoever wants Aaron Rodgers. But Derek Carr is probably going to be the most interesting piece because, like I said, he can pick and choose where he can go. Right now, he could go on trips and go on visitations, almost like college again. He can go on there and go on the facilities, talk to the coaches, and talk to some of the players, and get a feel for the team. He can take his time, honestly. He can really take his time. Where do you feel like Derek Carr would be his best fit to go?
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm gonna say Carolina.
Okay.
Carolina, they got the defense already on the other side, and then also they got a new coach over there. They got an offensive-minded coach. They do have a decent running back in that situation. You're not talking about a complete rebuild at all. I think, and even so, to even some of his off-field interests, I would say it's probably the best fit. I know they was talking about. I know he was doing an interview for New York. Personally, I don't think that's the better fit for him. But I think I really think Carolina would be a good look for him. And also to allude to that as well is that you're talking about a division that's up for grabs. Atlanta ain't there, Tampa ain't there, New Orleans ain't there. I just think if you're a quarterback and you want to at least give yourself the best chance to win one of these divisions, you think about it. I mean, you go to New York, you got to go through Buffalo and Miami. I mean, you look at I don't know who the other team. I would say New York is probably the biggest competition. But Carolina, though, it's almost, I don't want to say a free pass, but at the same time, you still got to earn it. There's not one quarterback that you say that's in that top tier that's worth even talking about right now in that NFC South.
Yeah.
That's just why I say Carolina.
Yeah, I agree with Carolina. You got Frank Wright over there. You got DJ Moore, and you can probably add another wide receiver over there, maybe some other offensive pieces. You got the running game in Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard. You got those guys over there.
Cuba.
So, yeah.
Chuba.
Chuba, whatever.
Chuba. This nigga gonna say Chuba.
The dude.
He's always fucking up somebody's name, man.
I ain't the one to name the man that. All right.
That boy known for fucking up a name, ain't he?
No,
and he was running at he was running at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, I think, if I stand correct. I do remember watching a couple of highlights in college. But
Cris ain't shit. Goddamn Chuba.
No, but Chuba though, he's gonna be an interesting prospect to even look at going forward. I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, if you guys got fantasy teams, I might jump on one. I took a year off this year, but next year it's like if you want, as far as like fantasy football and everything, Chuba Hubbard one of the people you want to look at.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But going back to the point though, Derek Carr, like you said, it's just the best fit. I mean, like I said, just going through. I mean, back then it's like you wanted to avoid going through. Nobody wanted to go to the NFC East AFC East because you had to deal with Tom Brady back in the day. Yep. Now you're having to go through Josh Allen, and you have to go through, depending on the health status of Tua and the other. I mean, it just makes more sense. Go to the NFC South. Give yourself a chance. That's what's logical. Go get paid and win under a winning coach, because I feel like Wright got screwed over in Indianapolis. I mean, we're talking about having to go through the unfortunate, as far as what happened with Andrew Luck, him retiring. Then you had to go through the other quarterback carousel, which made no sense. You went from Wentz, and then you had Phillip Rivers. I'm like, what are they doing? Yeah. And then it just don't make sense. I say go revive that career. And I don't think you want to say revive, because it wasn't really a bad situation as far as with the Raiders. They just, coaches and the inability for that defense to close out games. He wasn't a bad fourth quarter quarterback if you actually really look at it, some of the performances he had. So Go to Carolina, dude. This makes the most sense.
Another team in that same division he can go to was the New Orleans Saints. He has a rapport with Dennis Allen. You got Chris Olave. The Alvin Kamara situation is, we're going to see that because he just got indicted for the situation that happened out here in Vegas. But they got good defensive pieces over there already. Now it's interesting to see what they're going to do with some of them players, because they're like $55 million over the cap. So
right.
They're going to be cutting people left and right and restructuring. And so
they need to be shopping in the NFL outlet or something like that. I'm like, how in the world? I mean, between them and the Giants, I think Giants somehow have gotten that bad. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
They be signing these guys to these contracts and they don't pan out. It don't work. You know what I'm saying? The whole Michael Thomas situation is just a mess. He's getting cut. He looks like he's panhandling to the Kansas City Chiefs to come over here. Every time I look up, he's saying something about the Chiefs. And so, yeah, I could see Michael Thomas gone. We'll see what happens to what's the defensive end? Cameron
Jordan.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with him. He might be a cap casualty, Does he want to restructure his deal and stay in New Orleans? Or does he want to go somewhere else and try to win the championship? It could be one of those deals, or they try to trade him, and make a deal to where they pay half of his salary or some crap like that. They could trade him away to a championship team. So we'll see what happens. But I do still think that that's a good space for him to go to. Because the one thing about Derek Carr, he needs to go somewhere where the city he doesn't have that city expectation from the media. Like if he goes to the Jets, he try that crime stuff with the Jets. The media gonna eat him alive. Right. They gonna kill him.
That's why I thought Derek Carr going to Washington made the most sense.
Yeah.
I think you're not at the way that they play football. You're not asking the quarterback to win you ball games. Right. You're asking your quarterback not to lose you a game, and that's something that Derek Carr can do. He has young enough wide receivers that are still growing and they want to learn and they want to be great. So you're not dealing with, not to say that Devontae is an issue, but a seasoned guy at that position. He knows a little bit more. He can demand what type of routes he's going to run against this type of coverage and the expectation. Whereas Derek Carr can get that entire offense to rally around him, and they've been in big enough ball games. They have enough confidence. Washington with a Derek Carr is a perfect fit. I think you still got Jimmy G that's in the equation too. You can't leave Jimmy out of it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't think any team right now should be too much concerned with Aaron, because the biggest thing about Aaron is Aaron going to show up to mini camps? Is Aaron going to be there for OTAs? You know what I mean? Outside of Green Bay, is anybody else even willing to risk that with Aaron Rodgers' arm talent? Because the Super Bowl is not the main thing for Aaron. It hasn't been the main thing for Aaron in a long time. You know what I mean? It's about his own personal stats and building a legacy to get him into the Hall of Fame so he can be in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. I don't think the Super Bowl is the biggest thing on Aaron's mind, sadly. So, I mean, and then you got Lamar that's still there. Like, I seriously think that, Lamar ain't never been the type of dude that's been on some I know I'm that dude, y'all need to pay me kind of shit. Like, even last year, you know what I'm saying, when they were in the middle of the negotiations, Lamar was on some, nah, we need to table this and get ready for the regular season. Like, I'm not tripping on that. Let's table that. We'll deal with that after the season kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So they got a new OC. Now it's a matter of what can they get. If they can't get the things, that market's still going to be there for Lamar. You know what I'm saying? The biggest thing about Lamar is the 2 years of being injured at the end of the year. You know what I mean? That's the biggest question mark for any franchise. Like, they know who he is, but we haven't seen that for 2 years now. You feel me? Like, and that shit matters.
Yeah.
Despite what Lamar is, we haven't seen MVP Lamar in over 2 years.
True.
You feel me? Like, there's still that question mark on his career now. You know what I mean? So he needs to be paid more than Kyler. And everybody in the league can agree he needs to be paid more than Kyler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's the question right now. I think the question is Baltimore, I'm giving y'all ample opportunity to fix this, because I don't want to leave Baltimore. Can y'all go and get me another wide receiver? Can y'all assure that we are going to change this offense and make it more a complete offense and not revert back to, well, we lost Bateman, so let's go back to this scheme. You know what I mean? Like, they have to get some guys on the outside to help him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think he's giving them that opportunity to try to fix this. Otherwise, Lamar would have been like, cut me. You know what I'm saying? What we doing? It would have been stories everywhere about the problems in Baltimore, and that's all they would be running all day, every day. That's all they would be talking about, because Lamar would be vocal. Twitter. Y'all see him on Twitter. Like, he could get busy on Twitter and be like, man, I ain't trying to deal with Baltimore. He take that shit down off his Twitter, off his IG. Like, he would let it be known he out of there. You feel me? So, I mean, that's, in my opinion, that's where these quarterbacks are.
As far as Aaron Rodgers go, the only team I think that's really all in. Well, man, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders try to make a play for him, just because it's a splash play they need.
Mm-hmm.
They need that allure out here to get people to watch, because the Raiders fandom now here, they're frustrated. You know what I'm saying? And they need to get butts and seats. And so, regardless if Aaron Rodgers shows up to minicamp or not, Aaron Rodgers on the billboard as a Raider, it's going to bring people here, whether they be in town or out of town. People are going to come see Aaron Rodgers play in a Raider. Aaron Rodgers in a Raider uniform? Yeah, I'm going to see that. Are you back with Devontae? Yeah, let's go. Let's go. So, and the other team I think is all in is the Jets, because the Jets was right there. They were right there. It was a quarterback away from getting into the playoff. And if they had a viable veteran, if they had Jimmy G at quarterback, I believe that they'd be right there in the playoff. They'd be a
And that's who I think they
wild,
interested in.
they
Yeah.
would be a wild card problem.
I seriously think they interested in Jimmy.
I
You know what I
wouldn't be
mean?
surprised if he's one of the options. He's cheaper.
Casala came from
Yeah.
San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? Like they
You can
know the
get-
quarterback.
You can
They
get
know him.
you can get a cheaper deal done with Jimmy G. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers,
And it fits with them wide receivers.
Yeah,
Jimmy actually fits with them.
You got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. All the mess with Aaron Rodgers. You know, so everything, even his money, you got to deal with his contract. So.
It's that, and also I wouldn't say. I mean, people are going to say it's still kind of weird, but you know, it still kind of makes sense to me. But if you don't want to pay your quarterback now, but somebody with a similar style, not saying it is the exact style, the Bears, they got the capital as well. I mean, Fields, he still has that mobile ability that Lamar Jackson do. Not 100% the same, but somebody they can grow into. And then if he perhaps could be that guy, you might be able to do some work down there too. I mean, both teams need to do something because I know the Bears fan base ain't too happy with their situation either. They ain't really recovered ever since that year, the missed field goal kick from Parkey, I think it was. But the Bears is also an option. They got a high pick too as well. So I mean, ideally you want to.
So what you think? You think Justin Fields need to be moved?
I don't.
I mean, if they're not going to pay for a quarterback or anything like that, if that's what it seems like to me, because the fact that it's taking them this long to get a deal done is absolutely ridiculous, especially with somebody that's been an MVP, received the accolades, and done everything.
Hold on, Mark. Hold on. So you mean tell me Justin Fields need to be gone from Chicago?
I'm not saying that he needs to be, but if they don't want to,
Why would the Bears try to go after Lamar?
Why? Because possibly, I mean, they'll be able to.
They got no damn offensive line, Mark.
They may not, but they may not. They might be able to cut some losses because they do also have some assets too.
So why would you get rid of a quarterback that's younger than Lamar, not costing as much as Lamar, only to turn around and go grab Lamar to have to pay him that money that you could be spending on an offensive line for this young kid?
Clarence, I said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers up in Green Bay, and that situation.
We ain't talking about Aaron.
Worse.
We talking about Justin Fields and Lamar Jackson.
It's the same situation though, because they could have been moved on. And now look at Green Bay because they moved on too late. Now you got a disgruntled organization.
But look at what Chicago did. Chicago went out and they traded and they got Chase Claypool to put with Darnell Mooney. So the goal is in Chicago, they're building around Justin Fields. They're gonna go and get some offensive linemen.
Maybe.
But so let's say that they don't go get no O lineman. Why would you still go? Why would Lamar be interested in going to the sorry ass Chicago Bears? A step down from what he is in Baltimore. Because the team is better in Baltimore than it is in Chicago.
Does he have a no trade clause?
I don't know if he do or not. But if he don't want to go,
does he have a no trade clause?
Number one, Baltimore's not going to fuck him over. Why would Baltimore fuck him over and say, we're going to send you to Chicago after what you've given us? Because John Harbaugh was about to lose his job until Lamar came in there.
Thanks.
You see what I'm saying? Like, why would they do that to him to be evil to Lamar? Lamar's not even making this contract thing a deal. He's not making this an issue. He done shut up this entire offseason about it. He's not saying nothing. What is he saying about this contract thing? We're making it a deal.
Chicago's best option is to trade down and get some more picks and add
and get some linemen.
It is. And trust me, in this league, they've done things that have made no sense. But it's a possibility. Like I said though, because you can still get assets. If Baltimore, if that's what they want to do, they want to start all the way over. The Bears have that capital. They have the assets.
But how do we know that Baltimore's in that space with Lamar where they're like, we're just going to gut everything? Because, I mean, they made it to the playoffs this year. They only lost by 7 points on the road without Lamar.
But they didn't even guarantee the coordinators that Lamar Jackson would even be there. So who are we to say that it was why would they not? They didn't even guarantee the coordinators that Lamar Jackson at the start of day one is going to be their quarterback. So they could be seeking assets. We cannot rule that out. So yes, it would. Yes. Although it may not seem like that they're on bad terms, but business is business, and the Ravens are going to want to get the most out of what they can, and they don't care. Even if it means they got to start all the way over, they will. I believe
You
it.
lost me on Lamar going to Chicago.
I ain't say he would. I didn't say he would, but it's a
that makes
possibility.
absolutely no sense.
I can see him going to
Atlanta more so than
Yeah,
Chicago.
I can see him going to
You know what I
Atlanta.
mean? Like you got Justin Fields, and Justin Fields is a talent. He's a young talent.
He is,
So
but
you're not gonna.
not getting paid right now.
He's a fucking rookie, Mark.
That's the point. He getting paid on rookie money. They would save money by not having to pay for a quarterback.
He can't even do that deal until after his rookie contract is up. This is only his first full year starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't even know what this potential is for Justin Fields yet. Like, he hasn't even reached that. Rushing the ball. I mean, yeah, but passing, no.
I hear what you're saying, Mark. Teams make dumb decisions all the time. I just can't fathom Chicago, especially with that GM over there coming from our organization.
Yeah.
I don't see him saying, "Hey, let's trade our rookie quarterback who we ain't got to pay. We can pay him peanuts right now and get pieces around him, and then go get Lamar Jackson and pay him $50 million a year." I just don't see that happen.
I mean,
the question mark in Chicago is the offensive line and David Montgomery.
Yeah,
those are the two issues that they have on offense. They
that's
don't
it.
And they can replace David. They can replace David Montgomery.
That's it.
Yeah.
I also throw that
coach on offense. What else do they need on offense?
Even so with the coaching scheme, because I watched. Even so with the coaching scheme, though, I question their coaching scheme too, because there was a couple times where honestly some of his coaching schemes is going to get his quarterback killed as well. So I'm not too fond of that as well either.
I didn't even know who their coaches was until the middle of the season. I was the coach, defensive coordinator.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But it was bad. But I mean, like I said, teams do outrageous things, but they got the capital. Who knows?
No,
so you can't rule nothing out.
I hear you, I think Atlanta would make more sense because Atlanta, they need that surge of energy. With Lamar Jackson, if you're Atlanta, you'll pay that. You'll pay that ticket.
And if Lamar and the Ravens can't get the deal done, it's not going to be a situation where there's bad blood on either side. Like, between him and that organization, that was the only organization to give him a shot at quarterback.
Yeah,
it
was the only team. He saved Harbaugh's job. Like, he's an MVP in Baltimore. Like, if they can't get this deal done, it's not going to be a situation where the front office says, well, we're going to fuck you and send you to Serbia. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to send him somewhere that gives him an opportunity to win. As long as they can ensure that they're going to get.
At the end of the day, a business is business. They ain't going to care. I don't agree with that at all because they're going to want to get the most of what they can.
Exactly. So that's why you send them to Chicago.
They don't care about that. I'm not saying it could be Chicago. I'm just saying that because they had capital over there. That's a possibility. But as far as to whoever, they can send players to whomever, wherever.
Okay, it's just like Tyreek. Tyreek had two options. It was either the Jets or the Dolphins. They could have said, "Fuck you, Reek. We're going to send you to New York," but they gave him the opportunity to go home. They just built a house in Miami. There's no state tax in Miami. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't get the deal done, so it was, okay, we need something in return for you, Reek. But this is what we got in New York. This is what we got in Miami. And we appreciate everything you gave us. We couldn't get this deal done. Now, after the deal is over, you see Reek on TV, on his podcast, on some bullshit. Part of that had to do with his agent gaslighting his ass, pushing him.
Yeah, that was.
He didn't want to leave Kansas City, so he is a little sour. But in a situation with Lamar, Baltimore doesn't do bad business. Who have they done bad business with?
This is true. Here's
they don't do bad. And Ozzie Smith is still, or Ozzie Newsome is still around. Like, who they do bad business with?
Here's the thing, though. But I agree with you, Clarence. But here's the thing. It's different when you have have an agent who's negotiating for you, who can come to you and be like, "Hey, this is what the deal is. This is what they're saying. Blah blah blah. We should."
And Lamar don't have one.
And he don't have one, so he's getting straight it's like it's one thing. Like okay, yeah, the organization loves you, Lamar, but now we at the business table, and I got to talk to you like a
Exactly.
businessman now. And you might not like what I say right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the language that I'm using because I'm stern right now. I'm not coming into you like, hey, Lamar, we want you back. It's like, no, look, this is the numbers. This is what we feel. You've been injured the last 2 seasons. Yeah, we finished the last 2 seasons. And Lamar is sitting there back like, but bro, I saved John Harbaugh's job. Yeah,
They
that's
don't
all.
care.
I was in
They
unanimous.
don't care.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but this is our deal. Take it or leave it. It is like so when it goes that's the part that I kind of do wish he had an agent because the agent can be able to sit there and talk. Agent's not going to get emotional invested. When you've been with this organization since you started, it's going to be a little bit of emotion there, and it can turn a little sour. I ain't gonna say all the way sour, but it can turn a little sour. To when we get reports where it's like Lamar Jackson and the organization.
Absolutely. I mean, but you're gonna get those. You're gonna get those reports anyway because it's negotiation. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get those unless you just want a championship. Right. You know what I mean? And Lamar knows for the last 2 years he's been hurt. You know what I'm saying? But I think Lamar is at a point where he's like, shit, I know I'm better than Kyler. Right. Kyler got paid this. So I at least need to get better than Kyler's numbers. Like y'all need to pay me more than what Kyler is getting.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And that, and he's right. He does need to be paid better than Kyler because he is better than fucking Kyler Murray.
He is.
On one ankle, on one leg, he's better than Kyler. You dig what I'm saying?
And he's big.
And even so, as we compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, stuff like that, because now you're talking about up in Philly, you know, they're looking to extend Jalen Hurts. So then where do you put Hurts? Because at least Hurts has gotten there. He may not have the MVP status. He was runner-up. Yeah. So where do you put him?
Yeah, but you gotta look at situation too. Jalen Hurts had way better offensive than Lamar. Yeah. I bet you Lamar Jackson sitting back. I wish I had a Devontae Smith.
Yeah, you wish you had that. But you still gotta pay Jalen. You're gonna have to pay Jalen.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but where do you put them at for pay scale? That's the question. That's what I'm having a hard time trying to figure out.
Well, it's just like Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk fucked up the market at wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? When he reset that shit, it fucked everything up. The same thing Kyler Murray did. Kyler Murray fucked it up.
That was stupid.
Deshaun Watson, number one, and then Kyler. So in between those two, you got to find happy mediums for Jalen. You got to find a happy medium for Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Look at Jalen. Jalen got his squad to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, he's better than Kyler. Deshaun only played, 7 games? I mean, you got to pay him. You got to pay Jalen. Jalen's the face of the Eagles franchise. He's getting more than Deshaun and Kyler. Easy. He just got them to the Super Bowl. And if they would have won the Super Bowl, he would have been the MVP.
You're right. Absolutely. Because then, but here's my point though. Even so, not even my point, more my question. Who would you say should get paid more? Should it be Lamar Jackson or should it be Jalen Hurts?
It's got to be Jalen.
Jalen, because he got there.
It's got to be Jalen.
He got there. Jalen, because he got there. And
for 2 consecutive years, Lamar's been hurt.
And I will say this about Jalen. And it could have to do with the weapons, but I think I've seen a little bit far more significant better throwing from Jalen Hurts than I did from Lamar. Not to say that Lamar Jackson.
Agree.
But I think his transition from being in the pocket is better than Lamar.
Go back and look at that Baltimore Giants game.
Yeah.
I agree.
And that'll tell you everything you need to know about Lamar and that system this year. Part of that was him, and part of it was just bad personnel on the field.
Can stay in Roman. But but no,
bad football all around.
Yeah. But I think Hurts his transition of showing that he can stay in that pocket and sling that thing is far more better than what I've seen from Lamar in his few years. Even his MVP season, I feel like this season was better than what you know. The only if Patrick Mahomes didn't exist, Jalen Hurts would have been a unanimous MVP this year.
Easily. Easily.
And when Baltimore tries to hit him with shitty facts, like he can go back to, well, y'all took Hollywood away from me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all took weapons away from me. You know what I mean? And expect me to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Like that's just not cool.
Shout out to
You
Casey
feel me?
Prince.
So yeah. So when they get on that bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Lamar got ammo to come right back at him and be like, y'all can talk that bullshit if you want to. Y'all took this dude away from me. Y'all gave me this. Y'all kept me in this system, and I had to do the most with what I had. And as a result, I had to use my legs. And as a result, I ended up getting injured because of the system that y'all put me in and the
Mm-hmm.
inability to be able to get the ball to the perimeter like I should. Like you look at all these other quarterbacks that got all these weapons, and y'all ain't got me shit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got me a high draft wide receiver who can't stay on the fucking field and Rashad Bateman. You know what I'm saying? The only consistency that he's had has been Mark Andrews. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Which is some bullshit. Like
But even so,
Baltimore has did him a disservice by keeping him in this fucking system.
even so, it wasn't just him. I mean, you saw the proof even with Huntley. I mean, you can go back to last year's game. It's like everybody knew the focus was Lamar Jackson and
Mm-hmm.
Mark Andrews. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
was. There was a game where they had
Mm-hmm.
played last year against Green Bay, and they were real close.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very clear that everybody was looking at Andrews as like being the guy to
Mm-hmm.
get the ball. I think it was one of those games where it was questionable if they were going to go for it after or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the obvious read was not there. And then he had a man coming clear across, Hollywood Brown, matter of fact, it was coming clear across on a drag. I'm like, this dude is wide open. I'm like, if they would have taught him, but it just comes to
Mm-hmm.
a failed
Mm-hmm.
system, which
Mm-hmm.
is why, they looking for
Well,
an OC
I,
now.
I remember
They got
that
the
play.
OC. They need to get a new quarterback coach.
I
That
remember
too.
that. I remember that play. What they messed up also was they went and they made him do a bootleg to the right, so down and
Mm-hmm.
shortened his field. So now he
Yep.
had no choice but to go to Mario. If they just let him sit in the pocket and hike it, he could have read nope, and then hit Hollywood Brown in the back of the end zone. But yeah, I hear
Yep.
you. I hear you, man. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think Jalen Hurts probably is going to get more than what Lamar is asking for, even though, one has been to the Super Bowl, one has won an MVP. I get it. But,
Mm-hmm.
the season that Jalen Hurts is, I have to put the season that Jalen Hurts just had is over what Lamar Jackson did that
Mm-hmm.
season. And you have to put it over because Lamar he got knocked off in the in the divisional round, didn't he? They got knocked off in the divisional because they were the number one seed that year, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
They were the number one seed, and they got knocked off. They got knocked off by Tennessee. They got
Mm-hmm.
knocked off by
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee had knocked off the Patriots. That was the year that we had went to the Super Bowl. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they had knocked off. They had
The
knocked off the
Chargers.
Patriots. Yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
I
I
mean,
hope I hope I hope Lamar gets paid, but I hear what Clarence is saying too is like the past 2 seasons, bro, you've been hurt, and
Now, if
we
Baltimore
we
franchise tag him, here's the dilemma. So I think somebody said that Lamar should not play it. If he don't play it, he's doing himself a disservice because they're gonna change this offense in
mm-hmm.
Baltimore. If he don't play in it, they don't know what he can do. He needs to play in it and bet on himself and say, y'all change this offense. Now look, I got 3,800, 4,000 yards passing. He's going to have to prove to everybody that he can stand in the pocket and throw the football
Especially after two
one way
years
or
off.
another. Nobody is going, he's got to prove that shit. It's just like Mike Vick. When Mike Vick got home and he went to Philly, like he proved that he was bigger than running the football. And he proved that he could be a pocket passing quarterback when he got to Philly. Lamar gonna have to do the same thing, dog. Whether it's in Baltimore or it's somewhere else. I mean, he would be better off staying in Baltimore, but stranger things have happened. He could end up somewhere else. Either way it go, he's gonna have to prove that he can throw the football from the pocket. That's the biggest thing with Lamar. We know what he can do with his legs. Can he stay in the pocket and throw the football? Patrick is not a scramble out of the pocket quarterback. Yeah, he extends plays by moving around, but the end game for Patrick is to throw the football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If Tom Brady was as mobile as Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady would have been doing the same shit Patrick is doing. You know what I'm saying? You look at Aaron Rodgers all those years. Aaron was just as mobile as Patrick is, manipulating the pocket and throwing the football down the damn field. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. So Lamar's going to have to prove to the league that he can beat you with his arm. He's going to have to fucking prove it.
Yeah.
And even so,
Because he hasn't done it.
And even so, to add to that too, you know, as far as we talk about the Patrick Mahomes movement and all that stuff, and him having to use his legs at time. The biggest growth was utilizing his running backs too. And you start to see him using the check downs and understanding that, and that's just part of the thing. But like you said though, Lamar Jackson, he got to add that element of being consistent hitting them targets.
He's got to.
Personally, I don't think he's gonna be with the Ravens. I mean, I don't know where else it's gonna be. But I would not be surprised wearing a different uniform. I just hope he end up with the right.
Still, he gonna have to throw the football.
He is.
Still.
He is. I just hope he end up with the right coordinator to help him get there. That's just what I hope. Otherwise, it'd be another one of those woulda, coulda, shoulda, what if stories. That's my biggest concern because Lamar Jackson was a talent. You know, especially that MVP year. I'm like, oh, this dude is doing something different. You know, but with him, like I said, the last 2 years, him not playing, that's a real sore spot. And even so, I mean, every quarterback going to have a sore spot. Even so, you know, we talk about Jalen Hurts, you know, he going to get his money and stuff like that. What is he, like 17-1 over the last 2 seasons? I probably say the only black eye that I have to that is the schedule that they had. That's probably if there's a thing to critique. And but that's kudos to the whole line.
But he stamped himself in the Super Bowl to show that it wasn't just the season. You know, I put up yardage against the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know, it's gonna be interesting to see what Jalen Hurts does. Hopefully, I think they said Lane Johnson wasn't retiring, so that's a good thing for them. Obviously, you still got the question with Jason Kelsey. And also, if they change the rule, which I personally don't think they should, I have no issue with that. The whole scrum at the 1 yard line thing, whatever. I think that's stupid. Whatever. I'm
indifferent to it.
I'm like. So, I mean, are you going to penalize a team for building their offensive line at the way they did, and then they got innovative? That's like saying, telling Mahomes, oh, you got 4 superstar wide receivers, all of a sudden, so now you can't throw the ball past 50 yards. Let them do what they do.
What they don't want to happen is a team to be fourth and 2, 3rd and 1, and do that all down the field.
But if defenses can stop it, I mean, shit.
I'm just saying that they don't want the product to look like that. They don't want the product.
Who give a damn? It's about winning football games. And them assholes are sitting up there in their suits. They not out there playing these games. It's 17 fucking weeks plus the playoffs. Like you gotta move the football and find ways to win in the National Football League. Ain't shit handed to you. So run that damn sneak until they stop that motherfucker.
I will say
right.
I will say this: if it is a little bit of player safety. The nose tackle got all that.
Fuck all that, Chris. There ain't no player safety, nothing, man.
If fuck all that. You got all that pounds.
Do you hear the players saying that? Do you hear the players saying that shit?
Whatever.
The offensive players is like, yeah, we did that shit and they can't stop it. So, man, fuck all that. Stop it. Learn how to stop the shit. You can't stop it, then tough titty. You win some, you lose some. Shit. We couldn't stop it against Philly, but yet we still won that game, right?
I'm just saying. I'm telling you what.
Man, fuck that. I don't give a damn what they say.
They're not even talking about it. Is not, we know it's not about player safety. It's about the product. They don't want. They don't want Philly to on every 3rd and 3 to do that.
Okay, well then tell them to tell these defenses to stop the shit. Y'all don't like it, then stop it. Okay, so if you taking that away from offense, you gotta take something away from defense. Then
they take everything. They take everything.
I mean, isn't that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Ain't that the job of the defensive coordinator to figure out? That's what they get paid to do.
Thank you.
That's their job.
Thank you.
If that was the case, then don't pay defensive coordinators. Just have coaches. That's the way I feel about it. I had no issue.
Okay,
with
so
it.
if offense gets to keep that, then get a defense back. They chucks. Let them grab it. Let them grab the wide receivers. If the offense get to keep that, then get the defense something back. You know what I'm saying? Like balance the shit. But the offense don't want to give up that play because it's right. What 92% of the time. So let DBs hold again.
I mean,
It should be harder for wide receivers to get off the line of scrimmage.
What I've also heard was that what makes it illegal is that there's a lot of false start. Like the players can move before the snap is even called. So it's like you already got the defense off balance. So it is. So it is kind of an illegal move because it's kind of a cheat code. Because I'm already moving, and the defense got to kind of be like,
I mean, we could pull up tape without even looking at that play specifically where there was a number of false starts, especially on I think it was the right tackle possible. He was moving around like there.
Lane
I was like,
Johnson
are you serious?
He always false starts.
This dude had a full-blown hike before the ball was even snapped.
Yeah. That's what Lane Johnson does best.
But what the league does with it is what they do with it. I mean, I will say this though, as far as with the league on the offensive side, they addressed as far as with the offensive PIs with the pick plays and stuff like that. So that's kind of like one of those things on the other side. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how this league does. I mean, I'm surprised. I mean, every time the Chiefs win, they do come up with some kind of ridiculous rule anyway. So I'm just waiting for it. I'm just waiting for it.
So it's about time that somebody else got a rule next against them. Fuck the Eagles, man. Now you see what it's like to be a Chief. Because they was talking about changing some other rule. When they talking about changing the rule, because I forgot. They was talking about changing the rule. I know that one chick said something about changing the roughing or the roughing, not the roughing the passer, but the what's the name rule? What was the rule? Pat went out of bounds. Unnecessary roughness rule.
Who said that?
One chick on around the horn talking about they should make it a 5-yard, not a 15-yard.
I tell you what, tell her ass to run towards the sideline, let somebody push her on her damn back, and then she can see how it feels to get pushed while you running full speed. Run your ass full speed and let somebody run behind you 300 pounds to push you in your back, lady, and watch you fly fucking 8 feet in the air.
Especially when you got a high ankle sprain, you don't want to land on that thing.
Fuck your facial up, woman. Shut up talking that mess. Shit.
Speaking of media,
that's like when they made that change, they just made it unanimous 15 yards with the face mask. Remember before it used to be 5-yard or 15. Like, well, what's the difference between a 5 and a 15? I mean, face mask is face mask.
Fuck all that.
So don't overcomplicate it.
Speaking of media, we got a little media amnesia out here, fellas.
Which part?
You got people out here claiming that we're delusional, that they didn't say that the Chiefs weren't gonna make the Super Bowl, that we're sitting up here just making stuff up. And we're trying to play the underdog role. We all picked the Chiefs. They seem like they all picked the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. They picked us to win the division, not the Chargers, not the Raiders, not the Broncos. They picked the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl and win the division this year. You got people like
that one dude,
Jason McIntyre, talking about, "Oh, we're delusional. Show me some receipts." And then when people showed him the receipts, he wanted to discredit the people.
I thought you were talking about that one dude.
Oh, we're gonna talk about him too in a minute. We're gonna talk about him in a minute. But Mark, what you think about this media amnesia that's going around?
I mean, from the team that's supposed to win, or the team. I mean, y'all made this and painted that narrative since day one. Even so, it's like as far as it going to the MVP compensation, and I actually had to do my homework on one of them. It's like as far as like just to amuse myself. As far as like Mahomes and him always taking the back seat and him somehow being the number 2 or number 3 quarterback. Remember that year when Lamar Jackson was the favorite as the number 1 overall player? They had Mahomes down to number 4. Remember that tweet that Mahomes put out there? That pencil with the notepad? Y'all did this. And then fortunately on this past year, when it was talking about the MVP, I did a little due diligence, as far as with that. and it was talking about Josh Allen is the leading candidate as far as to be the MVP winner this year.
It was Josh
So
Allen. It was Justin Herbert. It was Joe Burrows. They didn't even mention Pat.
I said, let me paint this narrative to help me. Maybe you can help me make sense of this, especially after this coming year. Pat Mahomes, as far as with the total points combined of the games lost this year, was 10 points for the season. 10. Joe Burrow plays the Browns on Monday Night Football and gets blown out by 19 in one game. Josh Allen played in the playoffs, gets blown out at home to the Bengals and loses by 17. Mahomes had never lost the whole season, like as far as the games combined was by 10. But yet y'all still going to have them 4 or 5 or whatever. And then y'all want to talk about, these different, as far as with the team perspective, they basically said the Bills was the team to beat, especially after the Chiefs had lost to them in that earlier matchup. And then that narrative shifted, when the Bills were kind of shaky, Von Miller got his injury, and then the Bengals got hot. Oh, the Bengals are the team to beat. And then as far as I get the whole analytics as far as this player is hurt and that hurt. Y'all painted that narrative. The media, the books.
They painted the narrative when we traded away Tyreek Hill. Once we traded away Tyreek Hill, they was like, it's over now. They ain't gonna be able to
score throw the ball to.
They ain't gonna throw the ball to. They ain't gonna score no touchdowns. It's gonna be harder this year. Mahomes is about to get exposed because he ain't got that safety blanket. He can't just throw it down the field no more. He ain't got Tyreek Hill to flip the coverage, so he can see the field the way he sees it. He just got Travis. You just double Travis now, and it's over. They can't score. They're gonna score 10 points a game, pretty much. It was just all season. From even before the season started, they had started the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
They had already, and then all the moves that the AFC West alone was making. You got Devontae Adams, you got going to the Raiders, you got Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. You had all them defensive Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson going to the Chargers, and everybody, they're gonna win it this year. This is the year, and once again, it fell flat in their face, and now they're trying to walk it back because the Chiefs kept knocking down all the narratives. They were the number one offense in all statistical categories. They went to the play. They were the number one seed this year, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
What more could you ask for? You can't, and it just comes to show you can't discredit the GM because and there was nowhere even mentioned really. Everybody just talked about Patrick Mahomes. The rookies actually stepped it up. Matter of fact, I think this was like the first game. I think they said, and I have to go back and track what it says. It's like the first time they had 2 rookies that scored in the Super Bowl or something like that. Because Sky Moore, who ain't scored all year, got his first touchdown, and then Pacheco got in the end zone too. Because they had low expectations for their rookies, which is actually comes to show you as far as the kind of not just what happens on the field, but the kind of stuff that happens off the field and how they draft too. So the Chiefs have been nothing but disrespected all year long. Yeah. That's the reality.
Yeah.
But then you want to pull up, but then you want to sit there and go off and talk about, say, I got receipts and everything. Go ahead and pull up their receipts. You say you go ahead and keep your receipts. We'll see your receipts when you raise your ring. How about that?
Right. Now, I was gonna let Clarence go off a little bit, but he I don't know, maybe he had to step out. I was gonna talk about the loser Bengal fan who pretty much, threatened us. I'm not gonna mention his name. He doesn't get his name gets no run on Arrowhead Chief Podcast. He's a loser Bengal fan. That's what he is. That's what he is, a loser. He got on social media and pretty much threatened Chiefs Kingdom and said that Patrick Mahomes, he better not have a game with a pick next year, because if he does, I'm gonna be on your asses. It's like, and do what? And do what? What is he gonna do? So okay, let's Mahomes has a bad game. What that mean? Does that destroy his 2 Super Bowls? Does that take away his 2 MVPs? Does that take away any of his other accolades that he's won? All the records that he's broken so far. Does that take away from that? And who are you? Who are you to tell us how we supposed to fare? Yes, we're gonna show you these receipts. Yes, but we're enjoying the Super Bowl at the same time. This is what happens when you poke the bear. All season, y'all have been poking the bear, especially Bengal fans, coming at us all season with your chest all poked out. Y'all beat us in the regular season. Your chest was really poked out. Then the weekend of the AFC Championship, y'all were just comfortable. Oh, I'm just wondering who we gonna play in the Super Bowl: the Eagles or the 49ers. Burrowhead, all that stuff.
0-3.
0-3, all that. But it don't mean nothing. Because y'all beat us, y'all beat us 3 times. And y'all beat us in the AFC Championship game last season. But y'all didn't get the job done. You didn't win the Super Bowl. We did. We showed y'all how to finish a game. We showed y'all how to finish the deal. Get a ring. So until y'all get a ring, you can't talk to us. You can't talk down to us. You can't tell us what you expect from us as a fan base at all. Because you're beneath us. Your trophy case has an AFC championship in there. That's it. It's going to collect dust. We got Super Bowl champions. 3 of them, matter of fact. 3 Super Bowl trophies in there. Pat's about to have 2 rings. Burrow has 0. And you better hope that y'all can keep some of them pieces on that team. Because there's always a team that goes from first to worst. And it's early. We're going to wait till the offseason. He might be one of my bold predictions that they go from first to worst. I wouldn't be surprised if they miss the playoffs next year.
I mean, you pretty much said spot on. I think it was absolutely ridiculous talking about they 0-3, blah, 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 and everything. And I said, truth be told, Bills get a little bit more credibility than you got. The 90s Bills get more credibility. I mean, they went to 4, but at least they went to 4. They lost 0-4, but you don't hear them bragging about that.
The Bengals went to the Super Bowl and got smoked by the Niners.
55-10, if I stand correct.
They got smoked. That's y'all claim to fame. Y'all go to Super Bowls and lose them. I don't want to hear nothing from any other fan base telling us how we supposed to fare. And then you got this loser. I don't even want to say his name. I blocked him because I'm tired of hearing his voice. Coach J.B. Brown from Last Chance U gets on any publication that allows him to talk and talks about how mediocrity is the thing in the NFL. Mahomes is gimmicky. I'll take Joe Burrows. I'll take Josh Allen. I'll take Aaron Rodgers over him. Why? So you like losers. That's what you like. You like guys who lose. That's what you're telling me. Man won 2 Super Bowls. Has been the MVP twice. But he's mediocre? No disrespect to Andy Reid, but Andy Reid didn't get his 2 Super Bowls until he got Mahomes. You would have a case to make, Coach JB, if in Philly he was just bringing Super Bowl championships to the Chiefs. But he wasn't. The knock on Andy Reid was he couldn't get it done in a big game. And he finally got a quarterback that can go above the X's and O's, because that's the type of quarterback that Andy Reid needs. Yes, did he coach him up and get the best out of Mahomes? Of course. That's why he's a great coach. He's a quarterback whisperer. He always gets the best out of it. Any quarterback that you put with Andy Reid, he's going to get the best out of that quarterback. But the thing that Mahomes brings to the table is he can go beyond the X's and O's when things ain't working. Mahomes just straps it up and says, I got this. I'm going to put y'all on my back, and I'm going to win the game. And how many times has Mahomes done that for Andy?
Mm-hmm. And even so, like, the IQ of Mahomes is going up and up and up, year by year. The the prime example wasn't even in that misformation in the. It's like not every quarterback understands how to
Man,
do that.
they
You're
wouldn't
talking
call
about
timeout.
you're talking about a quarterback that couldn't even really read a defense and openly admitted it in his first starting season.
But you knew he was smart when even with Matt Nagy's admitting that he gave him the plays to go over, which I personally think that was just I think that was Andy Reid knew about that already. I think he told Nagy to give him the plays to see his study habits. I think that's what that was a testament for. Let's see his study habits. Let's see if he's going to cram and study. And when we come back to this chop talk, I'm going to see how much he studied. And I think Andy Reid already knew that. Like I think Mahomes thought he played them or him and Nagy. No, I think Nagy was sent to Mahomes before he got drafted, and they said, "Hey, give him the plays. Let's see how he studies. Let's see if he's coachable." And he showed it. And you should have knew his IQ then. The man
And
threw
even so,
five. The man threw 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns, barely knowing how to read defenses.
and the crazy part about it, to say average quarterbacks don't throw 5,000 yards. They don't have 5,000 yard seasons. In their first season, they don't throw no 50 touchdowns. That's not average. To call somebody average, and even so to have 5,000 in this past season, having to do it a whole different way, it's called evolving, sir. It's called evolving. When you don't have to throw the deep ball, you can trust in those mid range or even short range throws.
And then that's the knock on him this year because he ain't. The last year was like, oh, he needs to learn how to take what the defense gives him, and then now he's taking what the defense. Oh, he's doing this dinking and dunking down the. That's what Skip Bayless said. Oh, he's doing it dinking and dunking down the field. Tom Brady made his career off of dinking and dunking down the field.
Mm-hmm.
When he lost Randy Moss and all those deep threat guys, he was throwing it to the running back. James White was a fantasy league god because he was getting the ball out the backfield. So, like I said, to all you fans out there and to all you dumb media people, I just saw somebody else posted something. Jalen Hurts outplayed Mahomes, and if I'm a GM, I'd want Jalen Hurts over Mahomes. Like, man, come on, man. Stop giving these people platforms to talk. Let's just stop. Let's cut it out. Don't mention Mahomes' name in any other quarterback next to him, unless you're talking about Joe Montana, Elway, Peyton Manning. That's what space he's in right now. I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Burrow. I don't want to hear nothing about Josh. I don't want to hear Herbert. You can let them two fight it out for number two. But the rest, but all that other stuff, when it comes to Mahomes, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And any fan base who's telling us how we supposed to celebrate, how about you win the Super Bowl first and then know what it's like to celebrate?
Well, most teams get there. Because here's the reality. I mean, you can talk about. I mean, like I said, we was talking about how they was, bringing on that whole 0-3. Well, guess what? It changed this year to 1-3, and it still can rise. Where it's 2-3, and they can catch up. That can change. You know what? You can't change the fact that Mahomes went to 5 straight AFC title games. You can't change that. That's ignorant and stupid to continue to throw this whole same old thing and everything, because guess what? That stuff can change. Bottom line, you know what can change? Your team. You know what can change? Your mouth. You know what could change? Maybe your team getting to the Super Bowl. But to sit here and discredit because your team sucks and can't get the job done, that's a your team problem. I can't help it that your old line is depleted or whatever. Maybe y'all GM should fix that. Our GM did, and it took him a year to do it. The Bills been trying to figure out that problem for the last 4 or 5 seasons? They've been trying to figure out their running back situation the last 4 or 5 seasons, because the only running back that we recognize is Josh Allen. At least that's the only one I recognize. And Cincinnati.
What hurt the Buffalo Bills was losing Brian Daboll. That's what hurt.
That was the blow. That's why I didn't. I was not. I even said that if we could pull up that receipt, that's the only time where I would say, let's pull up the receipts of what we said. I said, I don't know. Them losing Brian Daboll could be a big blow, because defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators, when that whole shift stuff that happens, it makes a big difference. And guess what?
Don't be pissed, man. Don't be pissed, Joe.
No,
Be happy.
it don't make no difference. This is just the reality. If they're gonna sit there and be delusional, it's like then let's deliver the facts while they stay delusional because they can't argue the facts. They can't change the fact that the Chiefs got it done this past season. If they can't change the fact that they got it done without Tyreek Hill and all these other naysayers, and they can't take back a lot of stuff they said. They said what they said, and guess what? They failed, and just like the other 31 teams that tried to beat the Chiefs. That's the point blank bottom line. And the fact and the crazy part about it, I mean, when Tyreek Hill left and all this other stuff, realistically, this was your chance to get it done. Because guess what? These rookies in second years, all they're gonna do is grow and be better and be hungry and beyond.
Yeah. Well, I said what I had to say to to the loser Bengal fan. And to anybody else who's trying to come at Chiefs Kingdom, how we celebrate, you know what you can do. You know what you can do. All right, Mark, man. Let's get into some Chief off-season storylines. You know what I'm saying? We got a few players that need contracts, free agency or extensions. So I'm gonna run through some names, and we'll talk about them, a little bit. Now, of course, the elephant in the room. Orlando Brown. Now, you know how we all feel about Orlando Brown. He's very inconsistent. There's games where he looks great, and then there's games where he looks bad. And in the playoffs, other than you know what?
Jacksonville.
Even though I look back at that play, that was more so of a player because he had him, but it was more so just Arden Key working back, hustling back to the play. He had him initially. It was just Arden.
He just came around.
He just came all the way around. He came back and got him. So I know we killed Orlando Brown for the whole, ankle injury, but initially he actually did do his job. It was just that Arden Key,
How long did that play take? That's my question. I forgot how long it was.
It took a minute. It wasn't like he just whipped around him and got him.
Yeah.
Like Orlando Brown pushed him all the way around, and then he just hustled back. He kept his motor going. You know what I'm saying? Because most guys they stop once they get way out of the field of play. So initially for the playoffs, he played good. He played good in that game. He played good in the AFC Championship. He was great. He was great in the Super Bowl. Now the reports out there that the Chiefs are going to franchise tag him, which is going to be a little bit under $20 million, which is like I think it's like $19.9 million.
Okay.
Do you think that he plays on the franchise tag, or do you think they sign him to a deal?
I think they're going to get it done this year. I think they're going to give him a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there. Honestly, I was pondering on that thought for like probably the last 24, 48 hours as far as what to do with him. And I said that he had to really peak in the postseason to get it done. And we talk about all the different factors as far as what that line. I'm looking at from his perspective as far as like having to deal with those first 8 teams and who they had to go against and whatnot, and the fact that they held the team with the most sacks in the Philadelphia Eagles on the biggest stage to 0 sacks, and it basically, he did his part and did what he was supposed to. I think. Now that he's got his ring, he's thinking as far as for the legacy and what he could do. Because if he stays with this Kansas City team, I strongly believe he's going to get more. I mean, as we get into that talks, as far as if you can make that argument, if it's a dynasty or not or whatever, I think they do get a deal done. I think he does stick around, and they'll continue to build. Especially, you still got young pieces, dealing with the Creed Humphreys and seeing what Niang and all these other players are doing. So I think you give him a deal. But I heard about that too with Wiley. I did hear about that.
We're gonna get into Wiley in a minute, but I think I agree with you. I think they do get a deal done with Orlando Brown. Probably somewhere 5-6 years, 100-some million.
Yeah,
probably 50 million guaranteed, something like that. I can see him doing something like that. I can see it, and they'll structure their contract to where they probably can structure in a way where they can have an out probably in like year 3 if it doesn't pan out. So I can see them doing something like that. But I do not dismiss if they don't. I do not dismiss them letting him play on the franchise tag again this year.
It's a strong possibility too.
I do not dismiss that. Now, just mentioned it, Andrew Wiley. Now, Andrew Wiley had a pretty good pro season. I will say that. Towards the end of the season, he got better, but definitely in the postseason, he was really good. Um, Look, I I wish for Andrew Wiley the best. He got two Super Bowl rings now because he was with the first Super Bowl team. I think. Um, I think that you let Wiley walk, and you see what you got in Lucas Niang, who I think is more better athletically when it comes to you know being able to deal with some of these pass rushers. Maybe even see you let him and maybe Darius Kennard, who they drafted last year, see what you got in him, or you draft a right tackle. You can draft a right tackle, and you solidify yourself with a young right tackle on that side. Maybe him and the right tackle can battle it out. Him and Lucas Niang can battle it out, whatever. But you see what you got in that right tackle. You see what you got in Lucas Niang or said rookie, and then you let Orlando Brown play on the franchise tag, and then the following season you could throw whoever on that left side and see what you got with that. Um, but I let Wiley walk. I'm not signing my Wiley to a deal, even though I think you probably can get Wiley on a cheap deal. One good game out of 12. One album after 10 years. No, I'm just playing. Yeah. But no, definitely. Yeah. I would let Andrew Wiley walk. I'm letting him walk.
I mean, the proof as far as what Beach is able to do. I mean, they'll get the replacements, they'll get it done and whatnot. So, I mean, I would say, obviously, thankful for the service as far as what he did. To get back to this point, to get to this stage, and to be able to. Not everybody can say they have one-time championship. For him to be a two-time champion,
Yeah.
that's big ups to him.
And,
So,
and Wiley's going to get paid somewhere else. Somebody's going to pay Wiley. Somebody's
yeah,
going to pay Wiley. So he's going to get his money. It's just I don't think because I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, that does good for the morale in the locker room." Look, man, it's business, and I think not paying Andrew Wiley is not going to turn the morale down in the locker room. Be like, man, they ain't
no.
signed Wiley. Man, I'm out of here. I'm going trade me now. Like, no.
Yeah, 54, some other players in that locker room, plus practice players, plus coaching staff, they'll be fine.
About time. Now I get my chance.
Right. I mean,
So
the way I see if Sorensen got another chance, and I'm sure it'll be. I mean, we're fine.
yeah, Andrew Wiley get a chance somewhere else. Don't be surprised
Yeah,
he might be a Raider next year. You never know.
it's a possibility. I mean, people
Anyway,
people always look for linemen, and linemen is like gold nowadays. So,
it is. It is.
hey, Cincinnati looking for linemen, so you know how that goes.
He might be over there.
He might be there too.
Now the other big uh, contract extension that we need to be, looking at is Chris Jones. Now, Chris Jones probably is going to be looking for somewhere close to the Aaron Donald extension, which I think he got 3 years, $95 million guaranteed. So it's going to be somewhere in there, somewhere in that range. Um, I've always been vocal. You bring back Chris Jones. He's the leader on this defense. He's an anchor on this defense. You cannot replace a Chris Jones. Getting interior pass rush is they don't grow on trees. You can get you a defensive end guy that come off the edge and rush the passer. You can't find Chris Jones. That's a guy who
he
goes
was the best
inside and
interior.
outside. Yeah.
He was the best interior defensive line. I mean, Aaron Donald owned that list. I mean, there was somebody put that out there where all you saw was Aaron Donald's like best interior lineman, and then he finally got over that hump. So where he could say he's the best, and arguably he probably could have been the defensive player of the year, but obviously, it's hard to top. I mean, there's nothing you can do. Is that Bosa? He earned that. There's nothing you can do about that. It's probably with the sacks, but he did what he needed to do. He got his sacks. He made the key stops. He did everything you could possibly ask for. He was the man of the match when he needed to be. what else? And even so, his play affected other key players.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, with the Dunlaps and the Saunders and all these other players, down the line, even with our rookies and how that showed. I mean, you have to. It shouldn't even be a discussion. Yeah, you take care of it, get the deal done, get him his
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah. You extend them. Plus, you want to get that cap number down because he's going to be guaranteed. He's going to be 35 million on the books next year. So you definitely want to get that cap number down for next season, so you can extend the cap, so we can possibly get more players up in here, whether it be free agency or through a trade or whatever.
Yep.
But
Because
definitely,
pretty soon, I mean, it's very important to get something taken care of as far as with Brown and Jones as well, because you got to think about it. You're probably going to start having talks. I mean, about the Creed Humphreys. I know, granted, he's going into his third year. I'm pretty sure they're going to start getting into that discussion as far as with him and what to do and what not and so forth.
yeah. Another player that's might be looking at an extension is L'Jarius Sneed. Now, here's the thing with L'Jarius Sneed, and I think he's great. I love L'Jarius Sneed. I think they should extend him, but I'm gonna take you from a GM's perspective. They don't necessarily have to extend him this offseason. They can make him play on his final year of his rookie year. And it's not like, what is he going to do? unless he wants to demand a trade. And I don't think he's going to do that because he wants to win. He wants the possibility of winning the Super Bowl. So he'll play on that rookie. He'll play on his last year of his rookie deal. Now, if I'm Brett Veach, he looks at the AFC Championship game where L'Jarius Sneed gets hurt. And what happened? Yeah, rookie DBs out there that stepped up. You got these young guys that are going to be second year. They're going to emerge. The Trent McDuffies, the Jalen Watsons, the Joshua Williams. Possibly they draft another guy this offseason in the draft. You let L'Jarius Sneed play. Next year, you franchise tag him and you try to get something for him. Because good corners come at a premium. So maybe you franchise tag him next season. If he has another great, the contract year is always undefeated. Therese Payla used to say that all the time. And he could have he could add on a great season, add on top of another great season. Now he's definitely going to be a first round talent, and you can get a first round pick for him. Now, mind you, like I said, I think we should extend him because he's one of the leaders in that DB room, and them young guys look up to him. Trent McDuffie's, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, they all look up to that guy. But I'm also thinking from a business standpoint, and I know Brett Veach. Plus, he don't like paying guys that's 27 years old, y'all. And he'll be 27 next year. So I can see him saying, we ain't going to pay you this year. We're going to let you play your last year on your rookie contract. And then, the negotiations could happen. But now, do you want to pay him if he has another great season? Because now that price is going to go up. That's what John Dorsey used to mess up at. John Dorsey used to pay guys a year late. And dudes would ball out, and then he had to pay that higher price. And that's how we got in that cap hell. Brett Veach don't do that. So I'm saying, you're already going to have to pay Jones maybe, and you're going to also have to pay Cris or pay Orlando Brown. So I'm saying L'Jarius Sneed he might not get paid this offseason. They might look at it like, we trust our coaches to develop these young corners. And then year 3, now we can roll with Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, and Joshua Williams as our 3 corners. And maybe
you can buy him some time.
And then we could get something for L'Jarius Sneed. Thank you, especially if we win the Super Bowl. You got 2 Super Bowl rings. Thank you for your services, L'Jarius Sneed. We're going to send you somewhere that you want to go. Where you want to go? You talk to your agent. Y'all find a team that wants you. We'll send you. We'll do what we did with Tyreek Hill. We'll send you off and they'll pay you. That's all I'm saying. Just look at it that way.
And even so, to add on to that, I mean, and realistically, we haven't talked about the other name on defense. I mean, I'm going to wait till that segment comes around, too. I think it's a situation. It's either they're going to pay one or they're going to pay neither. And they're going, like I said, you pretty much spoke right on it. It's like they trust these DCs and these coaches to be able to get them right, get them prepared. That one game spoke for itself when they were able to perform, because when the Jerry Sneed went out, I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna be
Exactly.
a problem. But
We
then
all
them
did that.
rookies, but for them rookies to hold their own, and like I said, it was probably a testament to the schedule that prepared them to get to this moment,
Mhm.
and even so carry on to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. They made some adjustments and did what they supposed to do. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things we have to wait and see. But I would not rule out until we talked about that other name. It's either one or the other or none. That's all I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now Juju's gonna be a free agent this year. Now Juju, I feel like he had a good season with us. I think that if he didn't get that concussion, he would have well over 1,000 yards this season. His role kind of got diminished. I think they was trying to ease him back into the lineup, get him ready for the playoffs. But he made big catches for us this season. He really did.
Mm-hmm.
He made some crucial third downs for us. Even in that Super Bowl, in that fourth quarter, he made some big catches in that fourth quarter. Um, Now, the thing about Juju is, well, Juju, because if you look at the free agent market for wide receivers, Juju's the best wide receiver. Like he's the best.
Right.
So his agent can look at him like, look, man, you can get a lot of money this offseason. Now, you either can take, because I'm pretty for sure the Chiefs ain't not gonna break the bank for Juju. Like they'll come with a good deal, but they're not gonna come like, hey man, we're gonna make you one of the highest paid wide receivers. Nah, they're not gonna do that. They're gonna come to him with a team friendly deal that's good for both sides. And it's going to be up to Juju that does he want to break the bank? You got a Super Bowl. Some guys think like this. I got my ring. Let me go get paid, which I'm not mad at that.
Mm-hmm.
Go get paid. Go get
Mm-hmm.
your money because this league is cutthroat and they will cut you on a dime, man. And you get hurt, they'll throw you away. So get all as much money as whatever team wants to pay you. You go get your money. But a part of me wants Juju back. I do want Juju back because I do feel like continuity is a thing, and I feel like he has a rapport with Mahomes. But will I be mad if Juju's gone? No, because I think he is can is his production can be replaced.
Agreed.
I think with Sky Moore emerging with Kadarius Tony going into the off season, um, Justin Rose. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Justin Rose. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Justin Rose. Um,
That.
and
Go ahead though.
whatever they draft, maybe they bring in a veteran like a Michael Thomas. Maybe they do. If Saints cut Michael Thomas, maybe they bring him in. And if he's all healthy, with this training staff, they look at him and make sure everything's right with him. Maybe Michael Thomas comes in. Maybe they do say, you know what, we got to. We'll talk to the Cardinals, and the Cardinals is like, look, man, just give us a fourth round pick for D Hop. Maybe they make that deal. Because D Hop is going to be better than anything that's in the third and fourth round. Let's just call it what it is. And because I don't know what the Chiefs are looking at as far as where they're going to draft the wide receiver. I do think they're going to draft the receiver in the top 100, but I just don't know whether it be a first, second, or third round. I think they're going to go best player available type deal.
Mm-hmm.
But this year in this draft, they got to get impact guys. Last year they kind of just threw numbers at it, like, all right, we're gonna throw numbers at it. This year, I think they're gonna get more impactful guys.
I'm 100% with you on that. I mean, Juju got his ring. I think he does walk. I think he wants to get paid else. I think he will get paid elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're all on the same. Like you said, we're going to see and find out where the development of Ross is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we hope that he's on the uptick as far as where he's supposed to be, and they're gonna bring in a veteran and everything to be able to help him aid that and know what to do with that talent. And I think getting a veteran is very important no matter what. I think you can kind of make a case for every year the Chiefs are able to do that when they get a key veteran. This year, I believe it was done that. You can arguably make that conversation. This year, you probably bring in another receiver. I can't think of the last veteran receiver where they brought in because usually you see somebody, whether it be a linebacker or somebody on the D line. But I think, I mean, whether it be D Hop, whether it be can't even think. I'm losing my mind over here. Whether it be Michael Thomas, it could be one of those. It could be somebody else who's all of a sudden, things happen. But I think you're right on.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they bring Frank Clark back? Would you bring Frank Clark back?
My gut says for the sake of the run it back. That's the only thing to be able to make that argument. That's probably the only reason why I would. Would their outcome be better than it was the last time? Obviously, the big piece of that was because of the O line. Just there was no control as far with the defense whatsoever. But I think you do. I mean, that's a possibility, maybe. But I think he does come back, and I think he's just this. I think this probably the last hoorah is that we see a Clark. I think so.
Yeah, I think they do work out a deal. My man Dorian said that if you cut Clark, it's $8 million in dead cap, he would probably take that $8 million. Yeah, you probably could keep him with the $8 million. Yeah, restructuring Clark could free up to 21. Yeah, I agree with that, Dorian. I do agree with that. I would bring him back because he's established himself as a leader in this locker room. Um, he's part of the development of the George Karlaftis, I think. So you got to definitely bring him back to be a voice in that locker room, and he brings a certain type of energy, especially in the playoffs, that you just can't you can't duplicate. Frank Clark is one of one. He's one of a kind. Is he productive in the regular season like we want him to be? No, but he brings a veteran leadership that you want in your veterans. So definitely, yeah, I would bring Frank Clark back.
I mean, even so with Clark though, the beauty of it was I think you started to see, and this goes back to what the expectations we weren't sure of as far as with our rookie class and our young core. We weren't sure about what it was going to look like to have Leo Chenault. We were not certain about what it was going to look like with Karlaftis. I thought they were ahead of schedule in the way they performed. So
Mm-hmm.
that's an argument on the other side too.
Yeah,
And who knows?
yeah, because George, he later in the season he came along. He had
He
like
got hot real quick.
got 7 sacks in the last 8 games, 8 9 games.
Something like that. Yeah.
They even had a sack in the Jacksonville game. I think he had a sack in the Bengals game. Yeah, he had a sack in the Bengals game too.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, he showed out. And I credit Frank Clark for being with him and helping him learn, teaching him how to take notes, and teaching him different moves. Swim move, the spin move. You saw that in Karlaftis later in the season. He started doing that spin move. He started incorporating different moves, and that's the thing about a defensive end is when you're coming out of college, you could beat a guy straight power, straight speed, you just run right past him. But in the NFL, these offensive linemen, these guys are skilled. They're big. You got to learn different moves. You can't just hit them with one move. So you definitely got to hit them with a different move. Draft Felix and put Frank Clark and then let NASCAR. Yeah, I would like that too. Felix kid from K State is actually pretty nice. But yeah, keep Frank Clark. Juan
Yeah.
Thornhill. I say let Juan walk.
That was the other side of it because I knew this name was coming up, and don't be surprised if it's one of those one or none. I would not be surprised. I mean, and truth be told, I'll be leaning more so to the none side, so that way they can build it and build what they're supposed to do. I mean, the Chiefs defense, they have been widely criticized and still tend to be criticized. Even so, this was actually one of their better defensive years.
It was.
But you're starting to see that development. I mean, unless we hear something about Spags and then there be some drastic change in that one, I would say he probably walks.
Yeah, I think they're gonna trust in the development of Brian Cook. I think you put Brian Cook. You can let Justin Reed kind of be more of a roamer in the backfield because both of those guys are hybrids, so they're probably going to switch roles a lot. Spags likes to play with that three safety, so they can bring in another veteran safety to man that third spot that Brian Cook was doing. Now Brian Cook possibly takes over Juan Thornhill, or Justin Reed takes over Juan Thornhill role, and you have it just like that, and you just let
And
Juan.
by no means do we even look at it as a knock, because I will say this: the safety play was a concern, like in that first half of the season. But and then the safety, I mean, their plays as far as with the safeties, they got a lot better. There were a few here and there and whatnot. There was one play, I think it was a Jacksonville game, as a matter of fact, where I'm like, oh boy, I'm like, you lucky, otherwise that would have been 6 on any other team.
Yeah.
But they figured it out, made adjustments. Even so, like even we can kind of look at it from the Super Bowl when McDuffie lost the tracking of the ball. He must have got caught up in the lights or something.
Yeah.
But then the second time it happened again, and you saw Thornhill. He was over there to assist and help and stuff like that. And with Thornhill, it was one of those weird cases because he had a crazy breakout first season,
Yeah,
and then he had gotten.
He was great. He looked like he was about to be an All Pro, and then he got hurt.
Then he had got hurt, and then it got shaky, and then this year it started out slow, and then he picked it up down the stretch. Even on and part of that too, Reed, how they were to work with each other and get better. You saw Reed getting in the backfield making some plays too, so it was nice to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think Thornhill walks. I do believe though he deserves to get paid. He will get paid somewhere else. He got a good resume.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid somewhere else, definitely.
Hopefully not in the division, but
I honestly I kind of see him being a Raider. I can see I can see the Raiders taking him and paying him.
Thornhill do sound like a Raider name, don't
it does. Juan Thornhill. So yeah, I can see the Raiders possibly signing, or maybe even the Bengals see if they're gonna let Jesse Bates walk. They sign Juan Thornhill.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Bates is I see him being. I mean, safeties. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But like you said, I think we're both in agreement that he walks after this season.
A few more. McCole Hardman.
This one, okay. This is my thing, and goes back to when we were in our discussion earlier. I would not be surprised if he doesn't get signed, and I would not be surprised if you see him up in Washington at all, because then it would add another special team element. Yeah, somebody that's familiar with being in what he wants to do. He'd be able to help the other ones and what he does, whatnot. It's not saying that you don't want a guy like McCole Hardman, but also I do see him being able to shine away from Pat Mahomes, and that might be a good thing too. Is to be able to showcase that he don't need a Pat Mahomes as well. I mean, anybody in the NFL, I'm pretty sure, would love to play with Pat Mahomes and with their skill set. It don't matter. Even I believe AJ Brown, regardless of what he said, he would want to as well. But I think McCole Hardman, I think he would. I see him on his way to Washington. That's just what I do. It don't necessarily have to be that team, but I do see him walking. Maybe even Atlanta too. I think that's where he's from and whatnot. So that's a possibility. And it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate that he got hurt, because I would love to be able to see him showcase more. He had 4 touchdowns. I mean, and I think he would have. I mean, we had set a high bar for him, but I think that injury really took a toll on him, and it sucks, especially when it's a contract year. But that's just what I think, though. I would not be surprised if I saw him in Washington.
Yeah, he probably gonna have to take a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere because of that injury. It kind of robbed him of his season, so I can see him taking a 1-year prove-it deal somewhere. Like, any team that wants speed, he's gonna be viable for. Don't discount like somebody like the Cowboys who need speed, somebody to stretch the field. They can take a look at Nicole. Even the Raiders. Even in division. Some guys, the Broncos, whoever, there are people that's going to want McCole Hardman's services because of his deep speed. So he's going to have a lot of options out there, I believe. Especially, and he's probably going to have but he's going to have to take a 1-year deal because that injury kind of robbed him of his season. So
yeah.
Last player. Now this guy decided to miss the parade because he had to do a fashion show. So a CEH walking the runway out of Kansas City.
I know all that now.
Yeah, he did a fashion. instead of going to the parade where he just won the Super Bowl, which he did, I get it, he didn't play, but hell, he did more than Melvin Gordon.
Hey, Melvin Gordon, at least, at least he was honest. He didn't get to play. He said he pretty much got his free trip. He said he didn't have to do nothing. Kudos to him. And and that's a side note, getting away from a little bit. Granted, I love Melvin Gordon, what he did early in his career and whatnot until the fumble issue thing. If you follow him, if you watch him down in Wisconsin in his career and stuff like that, I'm actually happy to see him get one. It wasn't the conventional way, but hey, he got his. I mean, it was a better situation than it was out in Denver. I will say that.
I tell you that. Hey, I'll be laughing at Denver. Thank you for cutting me because I got a Super Bowl ring, baby. But no, I think CEH is done. I think they trade him away. I don't think I don't think he has a Chiefs uniform on this season. I think they get rid of him. Maybe you probably
can't argue that.
If he could have traded, I think keep him around for his last year. You might be right, Doran. You might be right. We'll see. He might demand a trade. He might want to get out. He might want to go somewhere he can showcase his talent a little bit more. But we'll see. I don't know. I don't know where he's at as far as the dog. Is he in the doghouse right now? Because they might have given up on Clyde. I don't know the significance of his injury because he had a high ankle sprain. So, but they brought him back on IR just to make him inactive. So. To me, that was a tall tale of that's how they feel about him. Like, we don't need you. Like, And so this offseason is going to be interesting for CEH. I don't think they cut him. They probably try to get like a 5th or 6th round, maybe a 6th round pick, 7th round pick for him. Whatever.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
You can't argue that, especially. I think McKinnon's on the list too. I'm pretty sure.
But he's a free agent.
But I expect him to be back.
Yeah, I wouldn't oppose to bring back Jared McKinnon. He's good in his offense. He's probably Pacheco's probably going to develop his second year, but he's very good in his own. Great in his own.
Good. That man had 9 touchdown streak and out the backfield passing.
Yeah.
Good.
No, he's definitely and he's a leader in that room. He's a leader.
Yeah.
You definitely want to bring him back. So I'm not opposed to bringing back Jared McKinnon.
I like seeing that combination of him and Pacheco. It was a nice change of pace and also just the execution and whatnot. CEH though. Thank you for your services, bro. After so long, really?
Yeah, he went to a fashion show. Yeah, he had to walk the runway. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't reschedule. Yes, he just won the Super Bowl. The fashion show was more important.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Hey, that's his decision.
Yeah.
What's more important to him is putting on nice, fine linens and not celebrating with his team.
Well, bottom line, he's still a champion. That's the bottom line.
That is what you can't take away from him. So, hey, he's going to be right there. If he's still on the team, he's going to be at the ceremony when they're putting their rings on. So,
maybe.
Maybe. All right, Mark, man, we'll go ahead and land this thing, man. It was a pretty good show today. We covered a lot of storylines in the off season. Probably now we're definitely going to take a little bit of a break, get ready for free agency and all that good stuff. Probably start back doing a show in the middle of March, probably around when free agency starts. Have a free agency show. I'm gonna try to probably get some people on here to talk about some of the free agents that we should possibly look at on both sides of the football. And, then after that, we start getting to the draft, man. I know it's going to be like a million mock drafts out there because everybody thinks we're off-season GMs. Hey, I'm guilty of it too. They're all off-season GMs.
That's why I don't even bother. I don't because in the name you think, and then you think about 30 names, it'd be none of the above. I'm like, and then half the time.
We do all this mock draft stuff, And just for the Chiefs to not pick that then player that we picked.
Right. They traded down or they gave they pick away or something like that. And then you wasted your day one. I guess it's not a waste. I mean, if you're in the Kansas City area, you watching it, you at home. I mean, so whatever. But for the fan that's watching on TV, you sitting there, you block off your schedule talking about who you're gonna draft, and then you get absolutely nobody. You're gonna be mad.
Yeah, for real, man. So
I mean, the only reason why I ain't gonna be mad is because if there was a trade or something like that we did in free agency or whatever. Already done about $50,000. Who'd you have in your first round, Joe? Who'd you have?
He had a running back. Would you get Behind Robinson? Dang it.
That's what I want to know.
Chiefs came in with milk if they got a running back in the first round again. They would stone Brett Veach at the stake. They'd burn him.
Kicker.
I don't kick it. I like the running back.
But even
I told you get the damn Beyond. We ain't getting no running back, Joe. You know we ain't getting no. If we get a running back, Chiefs is gonna have a meltdown. They're gonna be mad. If they ain't trading up to get a defensive player or a wide receiver, man.
I'm just gonna say in Beach we trust. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, you like that Felix kid at defensive end from K-State, I think. Yeah. He's pretty good. I'll go for a defensive end. Offensive tackle. I think we need to go ahead and draft another offensive tackle. Just depending on what we do with Orlando Brown Jr. and Wiley, and a young guy. And I'm not opposed to getting a wide receiver in the first round. I am not opposed to getting a wide receiver in the first round. If one of these good wide receivers drop to the 20s,
right,
hey, go get them.
That's the only way I would say.
Addison. Or what's his name? Njigma Smith, whatever his name, Jackson Njigma Smith. Yes, I messed up his name, Clarence. I did.
That's the only way I see it making sense. I don't know as far as the receivers, because it's not really a heavy receiver class this year. I do know that.
There's a few guys. I like Zay Flowers.
A few.
I like Zay Flowers.
Yeah, I did like him too. He showed some. I hate comparing players because when you compare them, then it'd be a bust and you'd be mad.
He reminds me of young Brandon Cooks. That's what he reminds me of.
That's fair.
He reminds me of Brandon Cooks. I like Hyatt. He's just there's no nuances to his game. It's just straight line speed, just deep, just go deep. And I know that's good. We like those speed guys, but I like a guy who's a little bit more shifty. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to be in another. You don't want to be another Justin Watson situation. That's the only thing, though.
Yeah. You want a guy who can get down but fight for the ball a little bit, to come back to the ball, know how to read to come back to the ball.
And catch
I like the kid, and this is probably day two guys like Cedric Tillman on Tennessee. He got hurt last year, but his 2021. Go watch his 2021 stuff. The kid is nice. He'd probably be a first round talent if he didn't get hurt this year. So I like Cedric Tillman. There's a few guys. I like Josh Downs from North Carolina. That Tank Dell kid. He's small, but he is, when I say speed, he's quick and he's fast. He's just small as heck. Like, I wouldn't pick him in the first or the second, but if he's there in the third round, I ain't mad picking no Tank Dell. Yeah. Ronnie Bell's good too from Michigan. Yeah, he's nice. Ronnie Bell is nice.
Yeah.
There's some quality guys in this, but you know how taking a rookie wide receiver, unless he's just super special, Andy Reid is not gonna put the rookie out there as much. They like to spoon feed him the offense. You know what I'm saying? So, but we've never really taken a wide receiver in the first. Last year we took one in the second, but we never took one in the first round. So it'd be interesting to see how he would treat a first round talent. Will he spoon feed him or will he put him out there? So
depend on the need and hopefully injuries, all that.
But I think we're in a position to go for best player available. I don't think we have to reach for a wide receiver. I don't think we have to reach for if anything, we need the priority should be probably defensive end, offensive lineman, wide receiver, safety, actually safety, wide receiver, and then what was a tight end, because we're gonna have to start looking at the future because Travis Kelce ain't getting no younger. Like, I'm not saying he's gonna fall off, but you don't want to be there for the fall off. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, oh, we ain't got three. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't mind them in the third, fourth round, maybe, if it's a good tight end sitting there. You can draft him, let him learn under Travis, let him pass that torch, and then we cool.
And they really going to start thinking about that too, because especially like we're talking about a Chiefs team that have made these deep runs over the last 9 years, stuff like that. That starts to wear and tear. Especially, the last 5. You've been this far into the season. You got to start thinking deeper. Especially if we're talking about this running back. If they do get there, there's going to be a lot of wear and tear. We've been fortunate as far as with the injuries and stuff like that. And even with Mahomes, I thought that was a huge break. The fact he had the will to be able to get through it, because usually in situations like that, you could have a situation say, you know what, I'm done. I'm preserving myself for the last year. Or even so, I hate to talk about it, but San Francisco, they probably going to have 5 quarterbacks deep in their depth chart because they had the worst luck in the world, though.
Yeah, man.
If you could probably do that game all over again, honestly, I'd be bold enough to say I think the 49ers might have beaten the Eagles. They might have. But when all them quarterbacks getting hurt, though, that was just the worst. Like, my goodness. Every time you turn away from the TV, one of their quarterbacks was hurt. It'll be interesting, maybe with Trey Lance. They got a situation to think about. Yeah. But since you was talking about all them other quarterbacks, though, I do want to say, I do want to throw this out there. If they're Jaguar, somebody in the Jaguar podcast, whatever the heck they want to be called, watch out for Lawrence this year.
Oh, yeah.
I would not be surprised if this team was somewhere between 12 and 15 wins. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't either, especially in that division.
They need to start talking about that, dude. I'm not sure like those people that like to take players, as far as the MVP, but Lawrence could make a case.
Jacksonville's in a good space. They're getting Calvin Ridley. He's the number 1 wide receiver. You mix that with what's the boy name?
You got Kirk down there. You got
Christian Kirk. You got him, Christian Kirk. You got Zay Jones. If I'm them, I'm bringing back Ingram because Ingram has a rapport. So you bring back that core wide, that offensive pieces. You got Travis Etienne. You maybe add a kind of a bruiser back, third down back to that, so they can get those 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 1s. And you add to that defense. Get some more defensive pieces. They got guys, Josh Allen and a couple guys, Trayvon Walker and all them on that defensive line. But they need corners. That's what they need. They need defensive backs. You know what I'm saying? They need a guy who can shut down, that side, one side of the football, or at least, be a viable who can guard number 1 wide receiver. So
they got a relatively soft schedule. That's why I say that number would be that high, because they're playing the NFC South this year, along with their division. So that's probably could be almost like 7, 8, 9 wins right there.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, the Chiefs, obviously they're going to be in a good spot, but we still got a lot to figure out with free agency. Looking at their opponents and stuff like that going into the next season, I don't think it's going to be nearly as a gauntlet. I think as ugly as a gauntlet you probably could have got was this season right here.
I agree.
As far as who they would potentially open up, everybody's talking about possibly the Bengals and whatnot and stuff like that. But
the usual suspects are going to be the hard teams that we face. The Bengals. We got to play the Bills this year. I think we play Miami this year,
which I think is the opener. That's what I think. The Reeks return to Arrowhead. I think that's going to be the highlight.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm still rolling with the Super Bowl rematch. You know what I'm saying? I think they're gonna do them and the Eagles again. Running back,
maybe.
We'll see. You might be right though. You might be right. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting offseason. But we'll get into it in the middle of March when free agency pops off. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right, man. If you look down at the bottom, you see the website. Every Morning Quarterback, our sponsor. emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go to that website, you'll see the locker room access to all the podcasts that are under Every Morning Quarterback umbrella. They got a Chargers one, they got a Patriots, a Jets one, a 49ers one, Jaguars. But they also have us, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. If you click on the banner, it says Arrowhead Chief Podcast. You'll see all of our episodes, whether it be the latest ones or the past ones. Go ahead and click on that, subscribe, and follow us. Also follow them. They got their own YouTube channel where they talk about everything league wide. They get betting tips. They talk about college football. Hit them up. Every Morning Quarterback. You can follow them on social media at EMQ Podcast. Hit them up. Shout out to them. And whatever you listen to your podcast, whatever streaming platforms, you can listen to us on all of them, whether it be Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, Breaker, Anchor, whatever you listen to your podcast, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on there. Go ahead and subscribe and listen to all of our episodes. You know, you're driving in the car, you're working out, whatever you do to listen to your podcast, Arrowhead Chief Podcast is on them streaming platforms. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You see that right above, right there above Mark, that AH Chief Podcast right there. Type that in, you'll find us. You follow us, we'll follow you back, because our motto is we're not Hollywood over here. We're fans just like y'all. You know what I'm saying? So you can hit us up, give us feedback on the episodes. You can give us, critique us, give us feedback. You could also give us some stuff that y'all want us to bring up, topics that y'all want us to bring up, because we're trying to give y'all the best Chief content that we can bring to y'all. So we want y'all to be able to be engageful. Hit up the comment section. Also hit up our YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, subscribe, share with your other Chief friends. Do all that good stuff. And yeah. And remember, talk to us nice and normal. Don't come at us with no dumb stuff either. You know what I'm saying? Don't be asking no dumb questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, ask us good questions within reason, people. But yeah. All right, Mark. Until next time, Clarence. Ty couldn't make it, but shout out to Ty out there in the comment section. We saw you. You know what I'm saying? We'll see you in the next show. All right, Chiefs Kingdom. Super Bowl champions, baby. Woo!
Be good.